Hello. Just watched Michael, the new Michael Jackson biopic movie that came out, and it stars Michael Jackson's nephew, I believe, who plays Michael Jackson in the movie, and the movie it it tells a lot about the story of Michael Jackson and really focuses on kind of like understanding who he is as a person, his upbringing, where he comes from. But it does a lot more than just show you what happened. It really makes an effort to try and explain the mind of Michael Jackson and provide some explanation for a lot of the more talked about things about him during the time that he was famous, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it did it paid respects really well to his run as an artist and his music. Something that I wasn't expecting was for them to play almost the entire duration of certain songs off of his various albums during the scenes where he was performing on stage. It wasn't just a little snippet of the song or the performance. He played out the entire thing. I don't know why so many of the songs are escaping me right now. I can't recall what songs he performed, but Thriller sticks out in my mind as as one of those examples. I believe they did the entire song during that portion of the movie. But yeah, gather my thoughts about this movie. What did I think about this movie? I'm sorry, I have a lot of allergies right now, so I'm spitting up, I'm sneezing. But yeah, I think the actors that played Michael did a really good job of capturing his likeness. Granted, it's been a long time since I've seen any Michael Jackson related content or movies or videos, so my frame of reference is like based off of when I was a kid, but I remember hearing the music all of the time. My parents, as lots of people at the time, were big Michael Jackson fans, so I remember growing up with his music. I'm not like an expert on the music, but I know the songs. I know how he sounds like. So that sort of memory that I have of Michael Jackson in my head, I felt like I was seeing that in the movie. I felt like I was seeing Michael Jackson in the movie. I kind of I sort of lost myself in the immersion of the young kid actor who was representing Michael Jackson, and then the more grown nephew that played Michael Jackson. I felt myself lost in the immersion of their embodiment of the character. One criticism that I have about the movie, though, is that not all of the actors' performances were of the same caliber of Michael Jackson's. It didn't make the movie bad, but it was something that I noticed throughout the entire movie. They were fine actors, but I could tell that they were actors. I could tell that they were in a moment of the film where this is a sad part and then a happy part and then a whatever part, and they were exhibiting emotions that were characteristic of what one might be feeling in that scene. So it was fine acting, but I could feel the acting coming through the screen, and I didn't feel that with the character that played Michael Jackson as an adult. I didn't feel that with the little kid. I think there were a couple of other characters that I didn't feel that with. I thought his name Jonathan, George, the father. I thought the father was a really good actor. I could feel the fear and the intimidation of that man come through the screen. It wasn't. I didn't get the feeling that this was a person playing an abusive father or a difficult father. I felt like I was watching Michael Jackson interact with his father, and it was really interesting to dive into that whole dynamic that he had with his father and how that played into his career and sort of revealed the the rationale behind certain decisions that he made. And also, granted, excuse me, I'm assuming all of this is like mostly true because I don't know all of the information behind Michael Jackson's life and the gossip and all that. So I'm just taking the movie at face value. But and also comparing it to what I already know about him growing up, it really helped me better understand where his sort of childlikeness comes from and where his mind comes from as far as thinking like a child. And it puts a lot of context to who he was outside of being a musician. And it's just interesting to have that perspective and have that dynamic and sort of rethink who Michael Jackson is as a person based on that new information. Yeah, it was just cool to see this character be built out as a human beyond the Michael Jackson persona. What else? What else did I notice about this movie? It's always fun to see. They call them period pieces. I don't know if that's the name for when a movie takes place in a certain period. I think it is, maybe, I don't know. But it's always cool to see the kind of set design, wardrobe, the cars that are driven, the architecture of that time. We went through, excuse me, I think it was the 60s, and then the 70s, and then the 80s. So seeing worlds built out that take place around these different eras is always really interesting to see. It made me interested again in listening to his music and kind of having this new perspective about him as a person. I mean, I think I become more interested in any form of art if I know a little bit more about the individual. I'm trying to think of an example of a time where I've watched an interview and it made me interested in that person, and then it made me want to check out their work. And the work is just more interesting when you know the person behind the work or have a little bit more information about the person behind the work. I also really liked how we got to really see his kind and caring side and how that translated over in his connection and understanding with children, his connection and understanding with animals. And it makes a lot of sense knowing his background and his childhood and how he grew up, and having been robbed of the opportunity to really grow up as a normal child. You can understand why he would be pursuing that same feeling as an adult. And again, just interesting new perspectives that I hadn't had before this movie. His nephew was a great performer. I don't know if that was his real voice, but again, I'm just assuming that it is. But he can really, he has a presence. He can dance really well. He moves really well. Yeah, I think he did a really great job. I'm probably gonna do some YouTube deep dives into Michael Jackson now and learn a little bit more about him, listen to his music. But overall, I thought it was a really good movie and a really good sort of peek into the window of Michael Jackson's life and his mind. And it also makes me sad that he's gone now, because it resurfaced a lot of the good vibes and energy and feelings that the world had during the time that he was alive, and that same sort of feeling that his music brought. And it was cool to see the origins of things that are commonplace and normal now, and sort of see where they came from. Michael Jackson's whole style of dancing and music, and the star power or ability to be able to fill entire stadiums with one individual. is really cool to see, because nowadays we have so many of those types of maybe not on the same level of Michael Jackson, but like the musical artist and talent has just, it's just increased as time has gone on. And one prominent example of one such person like that to me is Jungkook from BTS, because his most recent album has a song called Standing Next to You that reminded me a lot about Michael Jackson at that time, and sort of seeing, I don't know if I know that Michael Jackson has influenced a lot of people over time, so I can only imagine that there's what's it called, inspirations drawn from Michael Jackson, because the style of that song is so similar to his. But anyways, it's just cool to see the origin of that and where all of that came from, almost like a piece of history, a piece of entertainment, cultural history. So yeah, I think it was a good movie. Good stuff. Bye bye.
Stop.